You can build a career anywhere, but building a community, that takes intention. Today, we're talking creativity, connection, and the power of people around you with someone who has been part of my circle since the day we met at a co-working office. So before we dive in, a quick note. Normally, every other episode, we have Sophia here, but she's currently traveling through Japan and South Korea, living her best life. So today, stepping in for her is someone incredibly special and basically GOAT social adjacent by default. Julia and I met at General Provision, where GOAT's office is, and we went from work friends to real friends, traveling together to Norway and Spain, living down the block from each other and staying connected through the milestones of life. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
Our professional, yeah.
Literally a professional, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for people who don't know, Julia Sergison is a creative community builder who moves between digital work, design, and building intentional connection through art clubs, supper clubs, and collaborative creative experience. And today she's sitting in as co-host. So we're getting cozy, creative, and a little community focused. So Julia, tell everyone about how we first met at General Provision and how we, became friends to then traveling together.
It was a quick development for us, I feel like.
Yeah.
It was natural.
Yeah.
Well, we both bonded immediately after we discovered we were both Long Island girls somehow, which we all find each other in some way.
Mm-hmm.
But we kind of just clicked. It was before GOAT even had an office here. So you were just floating around in the free space. I was here working part-time in coffee after leaving my teaching career in New York. And it was just easy. Like I was doing so many fun little activations around the space and cute coffee carts. So I was always rolling past your in some ridiculous.
I was like,
get up,
stop the cart, come here. And I think we've talked about this, but I think moving out of state to somewhere new, especially somewhere like South Florida, a lot of people grew up here. While you have newbies, you'll have people who grew up here and kind of have their footing here. Right. So sometimes finding people to meet and finding your community is not always the easiest, but I feel like starting at General Provision, it kind of gave you like an immediate community of people to access.
Exactly. And I even started here because when I left my teaching job, I knew I was going to come down here and just figure it out because I've always figured it out.
Yeah.
And I have a fun time doing it. And I am no stranger to making friends and just putting myself.
Not enough.
So and coffee has always been a really big part of my community. So when I was looking I need something part-time to do as I'm figuring out what's next and building something for myself, I came across GP and I was like, wait, this is great because I could finally get on the other side of coffee, and not just be the regular all the time. I could kind of get my hands in the machine and gain a new skill, which I love. But it's also a perfect location to be a new person, right? Like organize the community, be behind the community, but also being a brand new Fort Lauderdale resident, it was great to meet a lot of young professionals too.
Yes.
Here we are. So it was a good choice.
Yes.
But I was able to kind of watch you guys grow, Sophia included, into this office space. And I can't believe that our relationship is almost as long as this, like all of this crazy development that you've had.
Yeah.
And then it brought us on our trip together too for your 29th lap around the sun.
Yes. Which was really funny because you were like, okay, so meet me. And I was like, okay, but I will.
Yeah, yes. And I'd love to have friends who are just like, tell me when and where, because I am the planner, and you know that because you're the planner. So it's kind of nice when you have another planner and you're like, all right, you're in charge. It's already done. Just tell me.
Oh, I don't know planning, and I never do. Like, I feel like I always stop planning the family trips, and then I was like, wait, Julia is like maybe more type A than me.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't even consider myself type A. I mean, but also
I wouldn't either in your day to day. I wouldn't either in your day to day, but with planning a trip, you had it down to a T. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, so who do I pay for the credit card, for the hotel or the Airbnb? Or like, what are my flights?
Exactly. But that was it. And it was even somebody else here at GP, Chad Scott, who's lovely, and we call him the mayor of GP.
Yes.
But he was also going to be in Barcelona during one of the times that I was planning on being there to visit my brother after this wedding I was in. And I remember telling you just about like, the coincidence, I'm going to meet up with Chad. And you were like, that's my birthday. Like, how dare you guys go on vacation without me? And I was like, come. And you were like, don't try me, I will. And we were booked, a week later?
Yeah. So fun. And for people who don't know, I am a chronic overpacker. So when Julia told me I was only allowed to bring a carry-on and a backpack, I probably cried every time we moved from city to city. Sitting on like there was one moment where I remember I bought stuff and I couldn't squeeze it all in. And I think I sent you and Jess to breakfast. So I was like sweating in the hotel room by myself. I was like, I don't need anyone to watch this right now. I'm going to use them on very embarrassing things to get things squeezed in.
You got to roll a lot of space bags. Everybody asked my secret. Space bags.
Okay, but when I went back this summer again, then I had a suitcase and I was like,
yeah, it's great. Yeah, I'll allow it while I'm not there.
Yeah. So funny.
Yeah, I love it. So I know we've kind of fallen in love even more since.
Yes. So walk us through your professional journey. What does your world look like now?
I'll start. So the start of my professional journey, I was a high school Spanish teacher at a public school in New York. It was actually the school that I graduated, which feels crazy. That's not like very on brand for me, for people who know me, but it's also completely on brand for me. There's a duality, I guess. I am a Gemini. But prior to landing that, what felt like, lifelong career, I did study to be a teacher, but I was originally hoping to be a mental health counselor for teenagers. So kind of looking to be the adult that I needed when I was a kid. And teachers are always very important to me in that regard. But I was realizing like, okay, if I'm going to get kids to go to therapy, like teenagers to go to therapy, like they're not opting in. So why don't I meet them halfway and become a teacher and just kind of like sneak a little mental health into, the lessons, which I do in all of my relationships.
Yes.
So I loved it. And I, before that, I was kind of applying those same teaching mental health in the nonprofit world. I was teaching abroad for a little while and working in development with a nonprofit that has been since absorbed by a larger nonprofit in the DR. Loved it, but like I was still looking to grow and grow. So I ended up teaching at the high school I graduated from because I was doing development remotely for this nonprofit in the DR. I was also working like a part-time job doing push-in teaching for other elementary schools in my area. I was also tutoring 1 million hours a week. So I was just hustling from as early as I possibly could. I had my first job at like 12.
Yes.
Off the book.
Yeah.
Like, I looked like a 26-year-old woman at 12, so that helped me land some gigs. But I was always working. And then when I got the teaching job, it was started as a leave replacement. So I was like, all right, I'm doing the development hours remotely. I'm doing these hours part-time, these hours part-time. Like, let me throw on a full-time teaching gig. Just it's a few months, I'll save money for grad school. They had a position for the next year. So I was like, do I take this job that people dream of in a great district with good colleagues and good kids and good parents and good programs, even though it doesn't really feel like the time that I was ready to accept something?
Yeah.
I actually had a dual master's acceptance program waiting for my response at the same time that I got the job offer. So I was like, California or New York, like, where am I going? I just moved back from the DR a few months prior. And I chose responsibility over responsibility over my gut, kind of my intuition, which I felt like I did often. But when you're in your early 20s, like
sometimes you feel like you don't have a choice. Even if you have a choice, sometimes you feel like the choice is made for you.
Right. You don't frivolous. Like, it'd be so irresponsible for me to spend all this money on 2 master's degrees when I could be starting my pension career,
Yeah.
But at least in New York, the way the teaching world works is like you get a job and you get a good offer and you're on that track for 40 years. Especially like retirement tier that I was in. Like basically I would get that job in order to have all of the benefits in full 40 years without change. Like I couldn't move districts. I couldn't necessarily change the subject area.
Yeah, you were locked in.
Yeah. And when I guess I was, maybe 24, 25.
Yeah.
That was like here, and it was like, listen to me. But I was like, so the salary and all these benefits sound nice.
Yeah.
And like the benefits, like, let me tell you, I was getting once weekly medical massages in my home for free with the benefits. So I was like, okay, I can deal with like living in my hometown. Could not. It makes sense. So it was really during COVID that my landlord at the time, great, my favorite people, were still very close with them, me and my roommate at the time who I was living with, who, we love her, Jess.
Yes.
I say roommate, but she's also my best pal from college and her job to move here with me. So we're doing it together. And so he was the one that was like, I can't imagine you here forever. So I was like, you're right. And I made in 2020 a 5-year plan to move back abroad, save this money, like kind of like it's a type A, like make a spreadsheet about it, make a savings account about it. And then a few years into that, I started to get a little bit sicker with these autoimmune symptoms that have been going on for a while. And I was like, knowing that, I had this good insurance, I was seeking as many answers that I could find. And even before I got the diagnosis of the issues that I have, I was like, I can't make it to the full 5-year plan. Like, I have to get out of here. The cold is making all these worse. And I have always been familiar with South Florida just from family vacations. My dad came down here as a kid growing up. So it's, it's been around. And so we were down here for family Christmas in 2021, and I was up on the teacher schedule at 6 a.m.
Yep.
Like with my book, with my coffee, like doing stretches on the beach, like no one else was around.
Yeah.
I was like, I need this now, and I need it whenever. So I went back and I said to Jess, I was like, hey, I'm going to quit my job and move to Florida at the end of this teaching year. Like, sorry, good luck. And she decided to join me. So when I got down here, it was all that figuring it out.
Yeah.
GP was a big part of that. And then I love GP. It brought me so many good people. Like every time I come in here, I'm like, it takes me 40 minutes just to get up the stairs because I'm saying hi. But I needed to leave it behind because I was living somebody else's dream.
Yeah.
So, and when I work hard, I work hard. And then when I'm sick, I get sick faster if I work
So you
hard.
moved up quick at GP in the sense that it was a part-time job to like,
And then I was
that you were headed straight the whole way. So, and if people know this who work in hospitality, you have to love hospitality to
hosting.
it's a different, like you have to love the space of hospitality you're in. Like even for example, like my brother loves the restaurant industry, whereas like I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Like I'm happy to do social media with it, but like I don't want to be around food and dealing that. Yeah.
Smelly
So
place.
So I think it was good for what you had and you moved up quick. And then it was I think when you left, it was the right time.
Yeah. Yes. And so I'm super grateful for all the connections here. But when I moved on, I moved on shortly before our trip together.
Yeah.
Also to give myself a little buffer to kind of heal some of these issues that were coming back with just the amount of, stress and work that I had, as we do. And so I kind of celebrated that healing with our,
Trip.
a week of travel, some other travel I had surrounding that. And when I came back, I just started doing more of what felt good.
Mm-hmm.
And that brought some new professional opportunities for me.
Yes, which brought, and we'll get into it, but it brought Heart Club, Separate Club. So, yes.
Yeah.
So, quick detour, because these last few weeks have been insane for me. And it's fun that we're finally getting to chat because I feel like I've just been like, hi, I'm on a plane, or hi, I'm here.
Always.
So, I was recently in Germany.
Yeah.
And what?
Again.
And that was for a client that I met from General Provision.
Yeah.
Igel.
Yep.
And it was fun because you used to yap all the time with Carl, and he's the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer.
Creative guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we had such an experience because my first or second time going to Germany, my first time in Frankfurt.
Right.
But it was during all of the like TSA shutdown, government shutdown business. So the actual airline we booked, we never flew on.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So we were literally like change, all this like seats we paid for, we never sat in.
Yeah.
My luggage arrived.
I was going to say that your luggage got lost. Okay.
Yeah.
New parts of the saga.
We had air tags and we could see like our luggage is in Texas while we're in Frankfurt. Yeah. We'd like go to a Zara in Germany and get like clothes because it's cold. It was chaos. Yeah. But client trips like that are really awesome because you get to actually spend time with people in person. Mm-hmm. And I think for them, they're a big tech company, but they have a big community of people that are their partners, that are clients, that are, workers. And like the culture of the people who also work matter, not just the clients and the partners, but the people who are there and representing the brand. And these events really bring everyone together and make people feel like good about the work they're doing. And I think it matters. Like in a very virtual world, people still crave community. And I think that's something that you have kind of found that niche in as well. And I talk about that on social media too. Like in social media, you still have to build a community. Like you're not just posting to post. It's still social. It's still building on something. But I think leaning off that, I want to talk about the community you've built at Spuds.
Yeah, we love Spuds so much. So again, big coffee girl everywhere I've ever lived, which the list grows.
Yes.
It has been my mission to always find a coffee shop to be a regular at. So when I came down here, that's also kind of how I discovered GP because of the coffee shop inside. We love Wells as well, such a good family.
Yes.
But Spuds was really special to me. Just A, the location, B, the lighting, C, I can't say the people at C. Let's move that back to A.
Yeah.
But all of it was so good. So when I left GP and I was starting to do some of these freelance creative ventures, I just ended up spending so much time there, as one does, with a laptop and a coffee shop. And I am a big fan of living my life without holding in a compliment because
you're good at that. You are good at that. Yeah.
And, it's not mine to have. It's yours. It's like, I think it, but it's for you.
Yes.
And it gross.
I don't think more of us can feel that way.
Yeah. And it's like, how many times okay, sure, as women, maybe there's some compliments that are not super intentional, right?
Right.
But how many other times where you get an unexpected compliment or you're like, that was weird? No. You're telling people, like you call your friends and you're like, this woman at the grocery store just told me I was having a good hair day. Like it makes your day.
I got like the sweetest one at Velvet Taco last week and it's still on my mind.
Yes. And you're like, now I'll go back to Velvet Taco there, It's
so funny. Yes.
So Spuds was kind of that area where I just liked the way it was run and things were clean and it felt good. Like it feels like a safe, comfortable space that I want to go back to. So I would like aggressively, kindly yell that into the kitchen to whoever was in charge. Like so eventually it came back out to me and the chef and the owner there, Megan, she's incredible. She is now just celebrated 4 years in business. And so she kind of like took me into her little Spuds community as well as like, number one regular. And last summer they were hosting these supper clubs, which you came to last summer. And it just gives her a good opportunity to flex the creative muscle in cooking outside of her standard daily restaurant menu, And I went to one of the dinners. Here I am, starving artist, quit my job. I was like, oof, I don't not have the funds to just be doing whatever I want right now.
Right, like a 4-course dinner.
Exactly. Yeah. But they like personally messaged me the invite to one of them. And I was like, I'm going to go because I love it here and I want to support this community. Mm-hmm. We're in, right? So I went to one of them. I bought my ticket. I invited a friend of mine. We showed up. It's like family style, beautiful, delicious, everything. She comes around at the end and gets everybody's feedback. And I told her, I was like, this is so much. And they were doing it 2 summers ago at this point, every weekend, Saturday and Sunday for about 2 months during the slow season. Kind of drums up a little bit of business as well for the locals, a little reward for us who are always here.
Yeah.
And so I told her, I was like, I loved it so much. And I also wrote her card. I think even maybe that was the second time, but I wrote her card and I was like, I love it here. Thank you so much, for having me and for being so good to me.
Yes.
And she had texted me later that week. And she was like, hey, we want to invite you to these dinners for free on us. We just like the energy that you bring to our table and we want you there in the conversation. And I like was at the beach at the time. I burst into tears. I said, that's all I've ever wanted. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So then I was at all of them. And then obviously she tells me, I tell all my employed friends who had the what I mean. So I was showing up with a crew of 3, 4, 5 people who also fell in love with it and now are regulars and that. So that's kind of how I started with her. And then I was still budget conscious, but they had this Halloween costume contest.
Yes.
And the prize, which is also a crazy prize, like are you kidding me? It was free coffee every day for the entire year.
Yes.
Like from November 1st until October 31st. And I was like, I need to win this. Like, this has to be mine. So I did.
Yes.
So I did win. And obviously, I was Elle Woods from Legally Blonde.
Yeah.
I was a little bit blonder at the time.
She even had the Chihuahua bar.
I borrowed a Chihuahua. But when I saw
I'm in a bruiser wood.
I texted my friends and I was like, hey, does Pablo have any plans for Halloween? And they were like, no, why? I was like, I need him for my costume.
It's like, Pablo's busy.
That's it. No, but like a live prop, it really puts you over the edge of the competition. So I won.
Yes.
It was again like crying when I was like on a walk when they texted me that I won. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And literally I was there every single day that I could be. And so, yes, with my laptop, but also with a lot of my art. So I do that just for creative recharge. It's kind of holiday season, right? November when it kicked off. So this time last year, I was making a lot of holiday cards. I do send a lot of like love letters to my friends and to anybody, honestly, that has any impact on my life. And it's a lot of people. And again, never hold in a compliment. Keep the USPS alive as well.
Yeah.
And so I was doing all of that there, just like sitting at a little table. And so many people would come up to me and stop and be like, are you an artist? What are you doing? Like, what is this for? And I was like, oh, it's just for fun. Like, we need to get off screens and connect a little bit more, and like how beautiful to receive something handmade.
Yeah.
And so that from there kind of birthed Art Club, which is now, a community that I've grown to invite people who are here on a laptop all day, here under a fluorescent light all day long, whatever it is, to just like disconnect from their devices and connect with their surroundings and themselves.
And it's also like a non-drinking activity. Like I think a lot of people in Fort Lauderdale have been craving that. I feel that in the city where people are going to run clubs, people keep running just because they want a non-drinking activity. And I think the community is really like calling for it. And there's yoga and sound baths and now Art Club. And I feel like it's being very well received.
Yeah. And it's all within the wellness space. Like Fort Lauderdale's a huge wellness hub, but it is also a huge party hub.
Right.
So I moved down here and I'm 5 years without a drink this month, like right now. Just because it was never, we never got along.
Yeah.
But moving down here, I was very aware of the culture and I was like, oof, I hope there's stuff for me to do. But again, if there's not, I'll make something.
Yes.
And I think you're right that I've had a lot of people who are like, oh my gosh, great. And they'll come and they'll get coffee, even if they're not caffeine people, like
tea, there's something.
Right. There's delicious things. But I do believe a lot in, how effective and powerful inclusivity.
Yes.
So to make things accessible to people and inviting to people where they come and they feel like, I'm so happy I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm happy I made this choice to do something by myself.
And I think your journey is such a lesson in when people say that they work from home or they feel isolated or they don't know where to go or they have no friends. It's almost one of those things of like, well, what are you doing about it? The fact of the matter is you really sat yourself at Spuds and before you had the coffee for a year, but you were paying to be there. You paid to be at the supper club. I mean, you were pouring into something and it came back to you, but it's almost like you weren't like, boo-hoo, poor me. I'm unemployed, I'm home, and I don't know what to do with myself. You figured it out.
Right.
And I feel like I have so much respect for that because I think a lot of people do sit in like a woe is me moment.
Yeah.
Or they're lost.
Me too. And then when I feel that way, I'm like, let me go for a walk. Let me go get a coffee. Let me go draw a picture.
And you can still be lost and figuring it out at the same time. Yeah. And I think a lot of people sit in the like despair part of it and they miss the good in it or they miss that's a growth moment.
Right.
And I feel like I've seen a growth in you from that. But it is fun to see because also the art clubs have really taken off. Supper Club has even grown bigger. But it was a passion that you enjoyed first. And I think when a business or some sort of livelihood can come from a passion, it's going to automatically do well because you love it or because you care about it. And of course, there's going to be times, and I think, you're feeling that a little bit now where it's like, oh, the business part is catching up. No, like now, right. But it's also like, oh, I have to do this where I don't really necessarily love to do the business side of it. Or there's certain things like even with, I love doing social media and working with clients, but being a business owner, there's like the admin stuff that I'm like, do I really want to do it? But you know what? It's that give and take. Exactly. And if it gets me to do what I love, that it's worth it.
Exactly.
Like you're sending proposals for future big events, TBD. And I think it's exciting. And whether that takes off or whatever takes off, it's going to because you care. And I think you'll continue to find your people.
Yeah, it's true. Like when you pour into the people that feel good, I say it a lot too, like following what feels good. Like there's got to be a reason, and like if you're patient with it and you're still good to yourself in the hardest parts of it, back around some.
It does. And I think having friends who support, like, not that I am an art club connoisseur. I'm really not artsy, but I'm happy to share it, happy to recommend people, and vice versa. Like I feel like there are things that you're like, all right, Kassie, I support you, but like not my thing. And it's fun to have friendships like that.
Right.
It really is. And we were just talking about, because I literally just got back from another trip. Yeah. I was at the Southern Christmas Show in Charlotte, which I'll explain to people who don't know. So that's the largest.
And you bought art. I'm so proud of you.
Yes, it's there.
I love it.
So it's the largest Christmas market in North America. It's 12 days long and it's bananas. It is the 12 Days of Christmas. That is on their logo.
That's amazing.
And it was their 59th year. So next year is going to be 60. And it's owned by a big corporation. And they have a marketing department. But basically, they outsource different shows because they have all different like home shows, Christmas shows, all different things. Like their marketing department can only do so much.
Yeah.
So they outsource to certain vendors who they really enjoy working with certain shows. So the Southern Christmas Show has been mine since I started. That's their biggest event. And they kind of joked, like, if you can handle this, like, you can stay. And like when I was done, they're like, do you still want to work with us? And I was like, no, I love the chaos. So it's my 4th year going. And when I say the chaos, they have about 12 to 15,000 people go a day. And think about it. It's people who are shopping, people who are there to, they love Christmas, but also of those 12 to 15,000 people, you're going to get a couple Karens or a couple people who just love to complain on social media.
We're all humans.
And it's something that's hilarious to deal with because you also have so many people who are so thankful and so grateful. Like I've been coming with my family for years, or tradition, or like we did this like man on the street type videos going around, and there was these cute older ladies and they were like, we come for fellowship. And like it was such a cute little Southern response. but it's nice that a lot of the crafters and vendors, because they have a lot of like handcrafters there, that's their community to see other people and their community to bond.
Yeah.
And so I did buy art while I was there. And it is a cool spot to see art celebrated. And there are even people who reach out to us saying like, we wish like there's more art markets, or there's such a craving for that and such a craving for
I'm on it.
yes. And I think in an Amazon AI driven digital world, people want what they can't get online. And I think same with community building and same with interacting with people. And I think it's fun how you've built also, speaking of social media, posting a lot of your stuff on TikTok and Instagram, and then people showing up from seeing a random TikTok.
It's crazy. I'm like, who am I?
Yes. And you don't have to be an influencer to do it.
No.
Like you can literally have 20 followers or 20,000 followers, but people still find you and people will still come and they'll still embrace it.
And they have. And like, I always ask that. So that's part of the community too. When people show up at events and I say, how did you hear about us? How'd you find out?
Yeah.
And they say, I saw TikTok. I said, I posted one. What do you mean you saw TikTok? But how great that you see it and it feels approachable enough to screen that you could show up. And that is the power of a lot of this, whether it's personal branding or your professional branding, like it goes in that direction.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump off that and say two-pronged question of why do you think so many adults struggle to make new friends, but then also any tips for people who want to make new friends or want to start their own community? I know that's like a loaded question there.
No, but I love it. Yeah. I do think I was talking with our friend Jess, my girl. She was helping me just brainstorm a little for this one. But I do think that adults struggle to make new friends because we're all children on the inside. You know, like this is just an adult body, but my brain is still seeking childhood joys and nostalgias and, innocence in a world of everything.
Yes.
So I think that people sometimes revert to that middle school version of themselves that is like, but what if it goes wrong? What if I'm embarrassed? What if the person's mean? What if we are chatting for a while and I realize like they're wildly on this opposite side of the spectrum that I disagree with? But we don't have to start there. And I know that it's come up at least in a few of your episodes for sure, but for any of these questions, start small. Yeah. And that is it's good advice, and it comes up so often because it's true, so same thing. I subscribe to this idea of never holding a compliment. Yeah. So whatever the age, whatever, the outward persona of somebody, like if their hair looks good, say something. Yeah. If you like their bag, say something, anything. Yeah. Even we were at the grocery store the other day and there was a man, he had his flashlight on, and it's not like, it's not a compliment.
Great boomer.
Exactly. And we were like, sir, your flashlight's on your phone. And he was like, oh my gosh, I feel so exposed. And like that in itself, like this man and I do not have plans to hang out. He's an older British gentleman, which I do love. But it was just cute to have a little moment where it's like, little haha together, and then we carry on our grocery shopping. So I do think like, don't be shy. And even if you are shy, like take a chance on yourself, right? Yes. You're not like making or breaking the future with a stranger.
Exactly.
It's just a little connection. And if nothing else, it's a nice part of the day.
Yeah. And I always say, I think for myself, it's like there's an unlimited amount of acquaintances.
Right.
Or like, even if you have your like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 friends, not everyone has to know your inner secrets or your inner world, but just to make the world or the city feel smaller. Yes. I had my 30th birthday this summer and I went to Vegas. Before I went to Vegas, I had like a little happy hour gathering. And one of my friends told my parents were there. Yeah. And they told my parents, they're like, I've never seen someone have more of an eclectic group of friends than Kassie, because they're from here. And I think some people really do cling to like who they know and they feel comfortable in that. Of course. But I feel like I enjoy meeting people as well. Right. And what's the worst? First of all, we traveled together, but like, but what's the worst? That we're just work friends, or, like it's nice to have that. Like, like I walk around Fort Lauderdale, nice to say hi to people or go to the grocery store and see people. It just makes it feel a little bit better. But I like what you said, start small. Exactly. And I think people do feel intimidated of like, I'm gonna have to hang out with this person. I have to make plans with this person. There's no obligation. Just say hello, a smile, a little conversation, and keep going.
And you see what happens. And I think that too, right? Like how do people start these communities and things like that? You have a community built in some way, right? So take advantage of if your friend invites you somewhere, if there's something free going on. It doesn't have to be this crazy startup. Buy a ticket to something you've never done before. Right. But maybe it is, like join for that guest pass at the gym or whatever it is. There are ways to do it on a budget, also with, kind of training.
Yeah. And if you're nervous, slide into people's DMs. One of my clients literally said she slid into this influencer's DM who's like similar age to her, and they were kind of on the same like health journey. Yeah. And they became real friends outside of it. But she was like, I was afraid to approach her, but I was like, this is someone I want to be friends with. And they became like a support system for each other. And it was a cute story she told me, because she was like, I don't use social media the way you use social media. She goes, but I see the power. Yeah. And it's like, we can all hide behind a screen and you're not going to feel as rejected, maybe, but it's just start.
Yeah. Practice. It's like, you got to put in the creative reps and the social reps and the business reps, everything, in the same way.
Exactly. So Julia, we close out every episode with 2 questions, and it's your turn. Question 1, what's your favorite current social media platform and why?
Okay, so again, with many of your past episodes, LinkedIn is a hot commodity. Yeah. I am the creative in me. Hate LinkedIn. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't cancel me. I have to clean it up. I never really needed it as a teacher. Yeah. And then after that, I just, again, all of this stuff growing faster than I can keep up with. So I need to clean it.
So I actually feel like, though, jumping in there is, I think, of LinkedIn's own journey. You would like this version of LinkedIn now.
That's true. You said
it's improved a lot for the more creative side. Right. So I think people are struggling, though, because people now are like, whoa, it's different. Or like there's too many options. But I feel like you would actually embrace that.
I probably will. And I will get there. But because, social media is, your default thoughts, I feel like, are the like truly social first.
Yes. Yeah.
But since I'm using Instagram and TikTok much more for like this business side of things, professional side of things, I can't choose those as my favorites anymore. And I'm going to go with Substack.
Oh,
so Substack is sort of creative. Thank you. I like to be. Substack is this sort of creative writing platform. And yes, it has become a little bit more, as the people say, doom scrolly, but not so much, because there is so much long form writing. So I have a personal blog there where it's just a lot of thoughts and feelings and processing. Yeah. So, my outward persona is very bubbly and friendly and bright and often. But that is kind of where I kind of tone things down, and I process everything that I experience through writing. So I'm able to kind of spit it out there and share as vulnerably as I can for, everything's like bright and fun and exciting. And I bring that to all my events, but also like, here is the, depth that I've got behind why I do what I do, why I try to remain as bright as I can in any of the thing posting. So Substack has been really fun.
I love that. If people are listening have never tried it, they definitely check it out.
Future reminiscing.
I love that. And our question is, what's one social media trend you wish would just go away?
This one is hard. And I've heard it before when you ask this, and this one is hard. Yeah. I've been trying to think of everything. And here's also one thing about me is I truly try not to poo-poo any of them, because there's a time and a place for all of the trends. But I think one thing that occasionally will get like on my nerves,
like grinds your gears a bit.
Yeah. It's like, I don't even know if you'd call it a trend, but when people are posting stories or even like a carousel on TikTok or on Instagram, when all of the pictures are so dark. Like and you're like, are you at a bar? Like, is it a martini? What is that? Right. Are you playing chess? Like, I don't know. And so I do know that there's like some kind of like sensual moodiness to a dark photo. I am no stranger to one myself. But I feel like some of them get to a point where I'm like, I don't even know where you are or what.
Right. Like they're going too far into it, or like they're
dragged down.
Right.
Exactly. So I feel like that's the closest I got to like a true trend, because otherwise they come and go so fast.
Trend though, because we had when Instagram first started, everyone was using those crazy filter
borders and things.
And that was in.
Yeah.
And I think now is to have that dark moody. And it's not so long ago, one of my friends was looking at my personal Instagram, and he said to me, which was so funny because I almost like fell over. He was like, I really love the grid theme you have going on. And I was like, my life? Like, okay.
You love my life?
I don't have a theme. He was like, well, everything's vibrant. The colors pop. Sure. And I was like, oh, I didn't think of that. Like, it wasn't on purpose, but the photos I should share or the things that I love are going to be more the bright. Like, I'm not, my personality is not to be like, moody here.
Exactly.
So it's
what Substack is for.
Apparently it was my theme.
But I see what he means. Yeah. You and knowing what comes out, but it's that same thing. It's like, it is who you are. That
Yeah.
you're good and when you're true to what you feel,
Right.
it shines through.
So if that person is dark and moody, maybe it fits. But if it's like you're just doing it to do the trend, I can see where it's mixing.
Exactly.
So I have a bonus question.
The bonus Jonas.
Because I have to ask you, what's your current go-to creative outlet? Is it journaling? Is it scrapbooking? Is it collage? Like,
pick one. And I was just saying this this morning with a friend because everything is a hobby, but now I've monetized many of them. So I have to make sure I have my regular hobbies.
Yeah.
So I don't go anywhere without my sketchbook and my journal for the most part.
Oh, I know.
They're all right there behind me. So I do try because in the hustle of the busyness and doing and hosting events and working with clients and doing art commissions and making my own prints, there's only so much time. But I do try to at least once a week, I take my teeny tiny little sketchbook and I go to a new coffee shop because I am still at Spuds probably 6 days a week. But on the one day that they're closed, I try to explore another coffee shop and I will do just line art. So black micron pen, a tiny little sketchbook. And I'll do a sketch of, one little square of the coffee shop. And that's been really fun. It's kind of opened the door to what I hope is some future brand deals with some cool coffee gear and coffee companies. And
they're really amazing. And I really see it going on merch. It's already started. I know it's already began.
Yeah.
But it's like more personable merch than just a logo or a brand name. It's nice to have that handwritten aspect.
Exactly. So, and it's opened the door to all these new coffee communities.
Yeah.
I'm always looking to do. So
I love it.
Those are really fun. Yeah.
So,
and love letters,
Oh, yes, you're great at that. So, Julia, thank you for stepping in while Sophia was off and for us getting to have a professional yap and for being such a huge part of my personal and professional world. I really appreciate your friendship. And I'm going to link all of your accounts so people can follow the art club and the creative accounts and can get involved. And thank you again.
Thanks for having me anytime. And we miss you, Sophia.
Yes.
Yeah.